What if you could live an entire lifetime of magic, battles, and destiny in just one weekend? What if a single game could rewrite your broken past, erase your ordinary life, and turn a homeless nobody into a world's hidden champion? This is not virtual reality. This is true full immersion. No respawns, no second chances, no reset buttons. 64 strangers fight in a procedurally generated fantasy world where every death is permanent, every choice shapes reality, and only one will walk away with victory. This is the Book of Dungeons, and this is the story of the player who broke every rule. I've never belonged anywhere. Raised by distant relatives in a run-down neighborhood, I grew up a self-taught bookworm. A quiet misfit with no money for college, no family support, and no clear future. When high school graduation arrived, so did eviction. My aunt and uncle wanted me gone, and the real world waited with nothing but poverty and dead-end jobs. Then Crimson Software's once-in-a-decade battle royale playlist appeared, 64 contestants, a $250,000 prize, and a fully immersive fantasy game that promised a fresh start. For me, it was never just a game. It was my only escape from a life with no second chances. My first ever plane ride took me to Irvine, California, a world of manicured lawns, perfect palm trees, and sterile luxury I'd never known. I checked into Crimson's repurposed facility, a former retirement home retrofitted for the ultimate gaming experiment. Strict rules stripped us of all personal items, electronics, and outside snacks. Only coffee, tea, and jello were allowed, part of the mandatory fast for the game's groundbreaking dream interface. I met my fellow contestants, privileged, sharp, competitive strangers, all hungry to win. While they chatted about combat builds and quick level-ups, I kept to myself. I didn't come here to make friends. I came here to survive. While everyone else chose to charge forward and chase glory, I stuck to my one rule: when everyone zigs, I zag. The keynote speech by Crimson's PR-led Josie unveiled why this game was nothing like any RPG ever made. The entire world of Miros was procedurally generated by advanced algorithms. No pre-written monsters, no fixed maps, no scripted storylines. Evolutionary programming built every landscape, creature, and magic system from random seeds, making every playthrough entirely unique. Its revolutionary true full immersion system used sedative IV drips to trigger controlled lucid dreaming. 1 hour of real time equaled an entire in-game year. We wouldn't just play a game, we'd live an entire alternate lifetime over a single weekend. Other shocking rules redefined the battle royale: only 20% pain perception to sustain brutal combat, no player respawns whatsoever, and automatic stat progression based on actions, not player choice. There were no pre-selected classes, no pre-unlocked spells, and no hand-holding tutorials. Every skill, every power, every strength had to be earned through relentless repetition and practice. Before entering the game, I chose my in-game name, Apache. No fancy alias. No intimidating title, just a quiet nod to lone defiance, surviving against overwhelming odds. I skipped cosmetic customizations entirely. Looks didn't win battles. Patience, strategy, and hidden strength did. The sedative hit fast, and darkness dissolved into vivid, unfiltered light. I woke in Belden University, a medieval academic town nestled on the continent of Miros. Twin moons hung in the sky, crisp autumn air filled my lungs, every sound, scent, and texture felt impossibly real. No cartoonish graphics, no artificial game polish, pure immersive fantasy. A town matron greeted me as a new apprentice, granting my first quest: report to the dean for academic orientation. Completing the simple task unlocked my starting rewards and a critical newbie buff, Ivory Tower Power. While on university grounds, I was completely immune to other player attacks. The protection only faded if I left for 12 hours, attacked others, or reached level 5. While every other contestant rushed out to hunt monsters, grind levels, and chase combat loot, I made an opposite choice. I ignored the fast glory of battlefield combat and buried myself in the university library under the scholar Mr. Fergus. While my competitors raced to gain combat ranks, I spent my days drawing precise grid lines on parchment, practicing medieval lettering, and sorting ancient manuscripts. They hunted boars and lizards for trivial copper coins and grey tier loot. I studied, learned, and unlocked rare, game-changing, passive skills no other player prioritized. My fellow contestants mocked my quiet routine. They chased quick level-ups, fighting feral archaeodons, kobolds, and woodland beasts, unlocking basic combat and light magic skills. They grumbled about slow progression and worthless low-tier loot, unaware the game's true power lay not in reckless combat, but in dedicated mastery. I slowly built quiet connections, bonding with Charity Bell, one of the only players curious enough to join me in the library. While the others partied at the village pub and rushed into dangerous wilderness expeditions, we studied ancient regional texts, uncovering Myro's hidden geography, political conflicts, and monster territories. Through endless, uncelebrated repetition, I broke the game's hidden progression system. Spamming basic cantrips day and night, unlocked 3 distinct magic schools, healing focus light magic, elemental primal magic, and shadow-infused dark magic, all before I gained a single level. While my competitors wasted precious power points on low-tier, disposable early-game spells, I saved every point. I knew their rushed builds would become obsolete. True victory belonged to players who invested in long-term mastery, not instant gratification. Days of rigorous manuscript work unlocked my unique manuscript creation skill, and sorting library archives granted me the rare research ability. These intellectual skills were overlooked by every other contestant, but they granted me unmatched knowledge, faster skill progression, and the power to decode the game's deepest secrets. When I finally finished my library catalog quest, I earned my first level up, gaining permanent intelligence and willpower boosts, plus my first power point. At level 1, I possessed 4 fully ranked skills and 3 magic schools, far more depth than my level 4 competitors who only prioritized combat. By the time the other players returned from their multi-day wilderness safari, they hit level 5 and lost their precious newbie PvP immunity. The safe bubble protecting contestants was gone. Betrayal, ambushes, and permanent player death were now fully in play. Charity Bell returned stronger, unlocking nature magic from her wild survival experiences. She warned me to spend my power points on essential healing spells, but I held fast to my strategy. I would not waste rare resources on trivial early game abilities. Our quiet friendship bloomed into something deeper. Under Myro's 4 glowing moons, we confessed our mutual feelings, sharing a quiet moment of peace in a world designed for endless conflict. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like an outsider. I belonged. But peace is temporary in a deathmatch world. While I've stayed safe inside the university's protective barrier, growing stronger in hidden ways, every other contestant has been fighting, leveling, and preparing for war. I am Apache. Level 1. With maxed hidden skills, unspent god-tier power points, and knowledge no other player possesses. I've avoided every fight, outsmarted every system, and turned the game's rules against itself. The newbie shield is fading. The other contestants are armed, experienced, and hungry to eliminate competition. The wilds of Miros hold deadlier monsters, uncharted territories, and rare endgame loot. The Battle Royale's true deathmatch has only just begun. Everyone else plays to win fast, I play to survive forever. Now, the real game starts. Who will outlast the rest? Who will become the final legend of the Book of Dungeons?